All right, back to it now. My next guest is a Gen Z YouTuber contributor. He is an influencer, and he's got a big following. This thing called Meidas Touch. 2 million followers across platforms, like 1.5 million on YouTube. He gets to 50 to 60 million monthly views by generally abusing people like me and making sport of us, which, okay, it's a free speech platform. I like it. He was supposed to be here last week. He made it now because he had some travel issues last week. All fine and well. Adam Mockler, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me on. I appreciate you taking the time to have me on a week after. I'm sorry about the communication breakdown last week.
Good.
And I just want to preempt this by saying my shtick is not to abuse or mock people. That's not why I came here today. I want to talk about Trump's first 6 months for my generation compared to your generation.
Okay, fair enough. I appreciate that. And I actually think your generation is more conservative. I mean, and based on the voting patterns of 2024 November, you would find a lot, especially young men, people your age, young men your age, voted for Donald Trump in larger numbers than previous generations had. Is that fair to say?
It's fair to say, compared to previous generations, my generation did give Trump a shot. But if you look at the updated polling numbers, he's lost like 30% popularity just among my generation. And it's because people listened when he said he was going to lower prices. They gave him a fair shot. A lot of people in my generation are really worried about housing prices or long-term prices. But in my opinion, I think that, and in the opinion of all Gen Zers, you can see this in the polls, Donald Trump has screwed that. He promised a bunch of deals in 90 days. He didn't get enough deals. He promised to lower the cost of housing. It seems like putting tariffs on lumber or Canadian lumber is the opposite of lowering the cost of housing. So now, if you look at the polls, you see that Gen Zers aren't as fond of his policies. There's a poll from Ipsos showing
you're right on that. And it's popular, and that happens to a lot of presidents. You're right. His numbers have come down some. There's no question about that. And for a variety of reasons, the honeymoon's over, if you will. But if I may, I thought we might get down this alley. Gasoline a year ago was $3.45 on average. Today it's $3.08. So it's cheaper. Eggs are down 23% from $3.17 to $2.46. Does that change a Gen Zer's life? No, but they are indicators that things are better in some areas. Mortgages are the same, 6.5%. Now, I think we could lower mortgages by way of the Fed and have some better efforts there from the central bank, but that's a discussion on the side. It hasn't happened. The market's over 44,000 for 165 million Americans, people in my generation. The market's important. The market is important. And I know you had that back and forth with Mr. Wonderful here recently, but the fact of the matter is the market being at 44,000 plus is important for people that have 401ks, your parents, your grandparents. If they're invested in the market, and many of them are, it's doing well. It's doing better. Plus, these deals with the United Kingdom, the European Union, Japan, South Korea, Vietnam, Indonesia, Philippines, China, all of them. These trade deals are important because I think it's fair to say America was on the wrong end of a lot of those deals for a very long time. Would you not agree?
I don't agree.
Why not?
I don't think a trade deficit is inherently bad at all. I think that Donald Trump has twisted reality to say that any trade deficit is bad, but a lot of these deals were mutually beneficial, or at the very least, you can shoot a phone call to South Korea and renegotiate a deal before declaring trade war on the globe. You don't have to declare trade war on the planet. And if you're going to like make the claim that Trump has had some intentional strategy when it comes to the tariffs, I'm not going to buy it. He's put them on Liberation Day, backed off on some of them, replaced some on. It seems more unpredictable than intentional, in my opinion.
Well, Donald Trump is a transactional individual. There's no question. It's transactional.
But trade isn't transactional. Trade is transactional, but it's also mutually beneficial.
But
if you look at trade through the lens,
when you see
Tim
when you see Tim Cook come to the Oval Office and say, "I'm going to spend $600 billion," when the EU says they're going to spend $1.4 trillion in America, you see a new car plant in Indiana, a new car plant in Arizona, a new tech center for Apple in Detroit, Michigan. These are all wins, Adam. I mean, how can these not be considered wins?
A lot of them are wins for Donald Trump because he uses his
It's a win for Detroit, Michigan. One of the most. I live near Detroit. It's abused for years. My entire life. Detroit's on the losing end of all of these political, sideshows.
I grew up near Detroit,
circuses.
but can I get a word in? When Donald Trump is doing these transactional meetings where he's getting $600 million or $1 billion from Apple, from Tim Cook or whoever, that is great. I like investments, but he's using tariffs as a lever to manipulate and bully people. The same thing with Qatar. You could say that he took this $400 million jet from Qatar because he's transactional and he loves America.
I'm going to agree with you. Hold on. I'm going to agree with you. I don't care about the jet. Let's back up to what you just said. The jet's a sideshow to me. But I agree with you. He does use the trade as a weapon. as a way to get what he wants. That's true. And you've gotten something like $10 trillion of investment earmarked for America. How is that bad?
A lot of because the tariffs are very, very, they're tricky. They are.
Well, they're complicated, sure, but how is it bad that we got the trade deals we wanted by using the leverage of the American economy?
That's not bad, but let me explain my argument.
So you agree? Hold on. There was an agreement there, Adam. I saw it. I heard it from you. There was an agreement there. All right, go on.
Of course I'm going to agree that deals are good, but the channels that Donald Trump is achieving these deals through are just absolute BS. Republicans will claim we're bringing in billions of dollars in tariff revenue, but they don't account for that tariff revenue coming from U.S. companies. We have multiple economic indicators lagging and slowing. The GDP contracted due to the tariffs. Inflation rose due to the tariffs. We can all agree that the GDP contracting is not a good thing. Yes, getting some peripheral deals are great, but at what cost? When we're putting tariffs on the entire globe, isolating allies, making new enemies, and you're going to say, oh, but Tim Cook was so scared he did a $600 million giveaway, billion-dollar giveaway. I don't think that it's convincing. Is that a good deal? And compared to the long-term
putting a brand new tech center from Apple in Detroit, Michigan is a good deal. Putting a brand new car plant in Indiana is a good deal. A new one in Arizona, it's a good deal. So here's what I say, Adam.
If the GDP contracts in Q3 and Q4, will you still say that this Apple deal was good due to tariffs? If the GDP contracts due to tariffs, will you go back?
I don't know what it's going to do. The GDP, the actual GDP is only about 1.5%.
It's a hypothetical.
It's not 3%.
If the GDP contracts due to tariffs, will you go back and say,
it's not 3%. We know that. It's 1.5%. Here's the problem, Adam. We didn't schedule enough time.
You can't answer, though.
I think you and I need more time because I'm up against the damn break already, and it's too bad because I think you and I can actually talk about some things. And you didn't come here and mock me, and I stand corrected. I was wrong about that. You actually want to have a conversation, and I appreciate that because I think we should. More conversations like this, maybe we'd understand each other better, and we'd figure some things out. I appreciate you being here. I'd love to have you back anytime.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. There you go. Adam Mockler, everybody. I was wrong. I can admit when I'm wrong. I was wrong. He came in, was serious conversation. I'll be right back.